You post that new car on Instagram. You mention the promotion at dinner parties. You wear that expensive watch just a little too proudly. And deep down, you know something is wrong with this game. You know that every time you reveal your hand, you become smaller, more vulnerable, more dependent on others' approval. But what if I told you that the most powerful people in history, the ones who built empires that lasted centuries, did exactly the opposite? What if the path to true wealth isn't about showing the world what you have, but about becoming invisible while your power grows in the shadows? I am Solomon, and I have seen both sides of this coin. I have witnessed kingdoms fall because their rulers confused display with strength, and I have watched the wise build fortunes so quietly that even their enemies never knew to strike. Tonight, you will learn the 9 hidden rules that Machiavelli himself understood, but never dared to write plainly. These are not the strategies of the desperate or the greedy. These are the methods of those who understand that real wealth is not about having money, but about having power that no one can see, challenge, or take away. This is not about getting rich quick. This is about becoming someone entirely different. Someone who moves through the world with the quiet confidence of those who know they could buy the room, but never need to prove it. Someone whose wealth grows like a river underground, invisible but unstoppable. The moment you master these principles, you stop being someone who chases wealth and become someone who attracts it naturally, protects it instinctively, and multiplies it systematically. You transform from someone who needs to show success into someone who embodies it so completely that others sense it without ever seeing the evidence. But understand this clearly. What I am about to share with you has been kept hidden for good reason. These strategies require discipline, patience, and the courage to walk away from the shallow satisfactions that keep most people poor and exposed. If you are ready to disappear from the game everyone else is playing and start winning the game that actually matters, then stay with me until the end. And if this resonates with the part of you that has always known there was a deeper way to build real security and freedom, subscribe now, because this channel will transform how you think about power, money, and the art of invisible influence. The first rule begins with a truth that will disturb you. Number 1, the power of invisibility. You drive through that wealthy neighborhood and feel the sting of inadequacy. You see the mansion gates, the luxury cars and driveways, the perfectly manicured lawns that whisper of success you don't possess. But what you don't see, what you cannot see, is the most powerful truth about real wealth. The richest person on that street might be living in the modest house at the end, the one you barely noticed. This is the first and most crucial lesson I learned in my reign over Israel, and it is the foundation upon which all lasting wealth is built. True power does not announce itself. True wealth does not parade down the street seeking applause. The moment you understand this, you begin to separate yourself from the masses who confuse display with substance, who mistake noise for strength. Think of wealth as a great lion in the wild. The lion does not roar to prove its power to the gazelles. It moves silently through the grass, unseen and unstoppable, until the moment it strikes. The gazelles that survive are not the ones who can run fastest from the loud, obvious predators. They are the ones who learn to sense the presence of true danger, the kind that approaches without warning. I have watched empires rise and fall, and I tell you this with the weight of centuries behind my words. Every dynasty that fell, every fortune that crumbled, every powerful family that disappeared from history, they all made the same fatal mistake. They confused visibility with invincibility. They believed that showing their strength would protect them, when in reality, it painted a target on their backs that could be seen from across kingdoms. The Medici family understood this principle better than almost any dynasty in human history. While lesser nobles built towering castles and wore crowns encrusted with jewels, the Medici lived in relatively modest homes and dressed like successful merchants, not kings. Yet their influence stretched across continents. They funded the Renaissance, controlled the flow of money through Europe and shaped the destiny of nations. Their power was invisible, and therefore it was untouchable. But here is where most people misunderstand this concept. They think invisibility means poverty, that strategic normalcy means living like a monk. This is not what I am teaching you. I am teaching you the difference between having wealth and being enslaved by the need to prove you have wealth. I am teaching you the difference between power and the desperate performance of power. When you drive a car that is reliable but unremarkable, you are not being modest. You are being strategic. When you live in a home that is comfortable but not ostentatious, you are not settling for less. You are choosing freedom over the prison that comes with everyone knowing your worth. Because the moment people can calculate your wealth, they begin calculating how to take it from you. The turning point in your financial life will not come when you can finally afford to show off. It will come when you realize that the desire to show off is the very thing keeping you poor. Every dollar you spend on appearance is a dollar that cannot work for you in silence. Every moment you spend managing others' perceptions of your success is a moment you cannot spend building actual success. I want you to imagine this scenario. You have two neighbors. One drives a brand new luxury car, wears expensive clothes, posts pictures of exotic vacations on social media. Everyone admires him, talks about his success, asks him for financial advice. The other neighbor drives a 10-year-old Honda, wears clothes from department stores, and spends his weekends reading books about investments. No one pays attention to him. No one asks him for money. No one knows that he has been quietly purchasing rental properties for the last decade, that his investment portfolio grows by hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, that he could retire tomorrow if he chose to. In 20 years, which neighbor will have true freedom? Which neighbor will sleep peacefully at night, knowing that his wealth is secure and growing? Which neighbor will have the power to help his family, to pursue his dreams, to make a real difference in the world? This is not a question of morality or judgment. This is a question of strategy and results, and the results speak with absolute clarity. The wealthiest families in human history, the ones whose names have survived for centuries, were masters of this invisible power. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Astors. They understood that true wealth whispers while poverty shouts. Here is your practical beginning. Start living below your visible means immediately. Not below your actual means, but below what others can see and calculate. Drive a car that is reliable but forgettable. Wear clothes that are quality but unremarkable. Live in a home that is comfortable but not impressive. And every dollar you save by not feeding your image becomes a dollar that feeds your actual wealth. Create what I call strategic normalcy. This is not about depriving yourself of quality or comfort. This is about choosing investments over impressions, choosing growth over glamour. When you walk into a room, you want people to underestimate your resources, not overestimate them. You want to be the person they forget to include when they are scheming to separate fools from their money. The most successful people I have known in my long reign were often the ones who surprised everyone when their true wealth was revealed. They lived quietly, spoke carefully, and accumulated relentlessly. They understood that wealth is not a trophy to be displayed, but a tool to be wielded in silence. And remember this above all else: the peace that comes from true invisibility cannot be purchased or stolen. When no one knows what you have, no one can envy it, target it, or pressure you to share it. When your wealth exists in the shadows, it grows without interference, compounds without observation, and protects you without announcement. This is not just financial strategy. This is existential wisdom. The most powerful force in your life should be the one that no one else can see, measure, or influence. That force is your invisible wealth, growing quietly while the world chases noise and flash, building the foundation for a freedom that most people will never understand, much less achieve. Number 2, the art of hidden power. You sit in meetings where everyone else talks about their big plans, their ambitious goals, their revolutionary ideas. You watch them seek validation, approval, applause. And something inside you knows they are making a terrible mistake, but you cannot quite name what it is. They are bleeding power with every word they speak, giving away their strategic advantage to anyone willing to listen. The art of hidden power is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in all of human achievement. Most people believe that power must be displayed to be real, that influence must be announced to be effective. They are catastrophically wrong. True power operates in the realm of mystery, in the space between what people can see and what they can only sense. I learned this lesson not from books or advisors, but from observing the natural world during my contemplative journeys. Consider the most dangerous predator in any ecosystem. It is never the one making the most noise, never the one putting on the most impressive display. The snake that can kill you moves without sound. The current that can drown you flows beneath the surface. The storm that can destroy your city builds its strength in silence before it strikes. Power, real power, is like gravity. You cannot see it, but its effects are undeniable. You feel its presence in every interaction. You sense its influence in every outcome, yet you cannot point to it and say, "There it is." This is the power you must cultivate. This is the force that will transform your life from ordinary to extraordinary, from visible to invincible. There was once a merchant in my kingdom who came to court seeking my judgment in a dispute with a rival. This merchant was loud, boastful, wearing his finest robes and speaking of all his accomplishments, his connections, his wealth. His rival stood quietly in simple clothing, spoke only when asked direct questions, and revealed nothing of his resources or plans. The loud merchant demanded justice, claimed he was being cheated, insisted that his reputation alone should settle the matter. The quiet merchant simply presented documents, contracts that had been secretly negotiated, alliances that had been quietly formed, evidence of preparation that had been building for years, all conducted in private, all executed without fanfare. Within moments, it became clear that the quiet merchant had not only outmaneuvered his rival in business, but had done so while the boastful merchant was wasting time talking about what he intended to do. The loud merchant had confused announcement with achievement. The quiet merchant understood that real power moves in silence, strikes without warning, and wins before the battle even begins. This is the turning point you must embrace in your own life. Stop announcing your intentions. Stop seeking approval for your plans. Stop asking for validation before you act. The moment you speak your strategy aloud, you give your competitors the information they need to defeat you. The moment you reveal your resources, you show your enemies exactly where to strike. Instead, learn to operate in what I call the realm of calculated mystery. Let people wonder about your capabilities. Let them guess at your resources. Let them underestimate your preparation while you systematically outmaneuver them in silence. This is not deception. This is strategic intelligence. Your power should be like an iceberg. What others see should be impressive enough to earn their respect, but small compared to what lies beneath the surface. Let them see your competence, your reliability, your quality of character. But let them only guess at your true capacity for achievement, your hidden resources, your secret preparations. Begin implementing this immediately in every area of your life. When someone asks about your business plans, share your values and your general direction, but never your specific strategy or timeline. When colleagues inquire about your investments, discuss your philosophy of financial growth, but never your actual portfolio or returns. When friends ask about your goals, speak of your commitment to improvement, but never your detailed action plans or deadlines. This is not about being secretive for the sake of mystery. This is about preserving your strategic advantage. Every piece of information you share is a piece of intelligence you give to people who may not have your best interests at heart. Every detail you reveal about your methods is a weakness you create in your own defense. Watch how the most successful people around you actually behave, not how they appear to behave. Notice that they speak in principles rather than specifics, in philosophies rather than tactics. They share their results after they have achieved them, not their plans before they execute them. They operate with what appears to be transparency, but is actually strategic disclosure. The Rockefeller family mastered this art over generations. They were known for their philanthropy, their public works, their contributions to society. But very few people understood how their wealth was actually structured, how their business operations functioned, or how their investment decisions were made. They were simultaneously the most visible family in America and the most mysterious. This combination of public presence and private power made them virtually unassailable. Your hidden power should function like a vast underground network. People should sense its presence through its effects, through the opportunities that seem to find you, through the problems that somehow resolve in your favor, through the success that appears to come naturally to you. But they should never be able to map its structure, identify its sources, or predict its next move. Practice the discipline of strategic silence in your daily interactions. When you achieve a victory, celebrate privately before you share it publicly, if you share it at all. When you acquire new resources, use them quietly before you announce them. When you develop new capabilities, deploy them effectively before you reveal them. Remember that every empire that lasted understood this principle. Every dynasty that survived for centuries knew that visible power invites challenge while invisible power commands respect. Every leader who achieved lasting influence mastered the art of being simultaneously present and mysterious, accessible and unknowable. This is not just about business or politics or wealth accumulation. This is about positioning yourself in life as someone who operates from a place of strength that others can feel, but cannot fully comprehend, cannot accurately measure, and therefore cannot effectively attack or undermine. The art of hidden power will make you simultaneously more approachable and more formidable, more trusted and more respected, more generous in your relationships, and more protected in your position. It is the ultimate combination of wisdom and strength, of openness and security, of influence and invulnerability. Number 3, constructing wealth silently. You work 40 hours a week for someone else's dream and wonder why your own dreams never seem to materialize. You deposit your paycheck into accounts that barely keep pace with inflation and wonder why you feel like you are running on a treadmill that never stops. You have been taught that wealth comes from hard work, and you work hard, but the wealth never comes. This is because you have been building someone else's empire while your own kingdom remains unformed. The construction of wealth is not about working harder within someone else's system. It is about quietly building your own system while the world thinks you are playing their game. It is about creating streams of income that flow to you while you sleep, investments that grow while you work, and assets that appreciate while you live your daily life. True wealth is not a salary. True wealth is not even a business. True wealth is a carefully constructed ecosystem of income sources, investments, and assets that operate independently of your daily effort, that function beyond your physical presence, that continue working even when you are not working. This ecosystem must be built in silence, protected by legal structures, and maintained through disciplined reinvestment. Think of wealth construction like building a great cathedral. The foundation must be laid in secret, deep underground, where no one can see it. The stones must be carefully selected and placed according to a master plan that exists only in the architect's mind. Each day's work must appear modest to casual observers, but each day must also contribute to a grand design that will stand for centuries. I once knew a woman who worked as a teacher in a small village outside Jerusalem. Her neighbors saw her humble lifestyle, her simple clothing, her modest home. What they did not see was that she had been quietly purchasing small plots of land whenever she saved enough money. She never spoke of these purchases, never boasted of her growing holdings, never revealed her strategy to anyone. Over the course of 20 years, while her neighbors spent their extra income on better furniture and finer clothes, she accumulated properties throughout the region. She rented some, farmed others, sold a few at strategic moments. By the time her neighbors realized what she had been doing, she owned more land than some of the local nobles. Her wealth had been constructed in complete silence, one small purchase at a time, one quiet decision after another. The woman understood what most people never learn. Wealth is not built through dramatic gestures or sudden windfalls. Wealth is built through consistent, strategic actions that compound over time. And these actions must be taken in private, protected from the opinions and interference of others who do not understand long-term thinking. This is the turning point that will transform your financial future. You must stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an architect of your own economic independence. You must stop waiting for permission to build wealth and start building it systematically, quietly, consistently, regardless of what anyone else thinks or knows about your efforts. Begin immediately with what you have, where you are, with whatever resources are currently available to you. Do not wait for more money, more knowledge, more perfect conditions. Start building your first independent income stream today, even if it begins with just a few dollars a week. The amount is not important. The habit is everything. Your first income stream might be selling a skill you already possess. Writing, tutoring, consulting, designing, repairing, organizing, teaching. It might be buying and reselling items you understand. It might be creating something digital that can be sold repeatedly. The specific vehicle matters less than the principle. You must create a source of money that exists separate from your primary job, that belongs entirely to you, that cannot be taken away by someone else's decision. As this first stream begins to produce income, no matter how small, you must resist every urge to spend that money on consumption. This money has a sacred purpose. It exists to create your second income stream. Every dollar that flows from your first independent source must be immediately invested in building your second source. This is the discipline that separates those who escape financial dependency from those who remain trapped in it forever. Your second income stream should be different from your first, should target a different market or serve a different need. This is not just for growth. This is for protection. If one stream encounters problems, the other continues flowing. If one market changes, you have presence in another. If one approach becomes obsolete, you have already adapted. As your income streams multiply, you must simultaneously build the legal structures that will protect what you are creating. Form business entities that shield your assets from personal liability. Create trusts that preserve wealth across generations. Establish accounts and investments in structures that provide privacy and protection from those who might seek to claim what you have built. The Rockefellers understood this principle better than almost any family in modern history. They did not just accumulate wealth. They constructed systems for generating, protecting, and perpetuating wealth that operated across multiple businesses, multiple asset classes, multiple legal jurisdictions. When attacks came against one part of their empire, the other parts continued growing. When regulations changed in one industry, they had presence in others. When economic conditions shifted, their diversified structure allowed them to adapt and thrive. Your wealth construction project must be equally systematic and equally protected. Every new income stream must be legally separate from the others. Every investment must be held in structures that minimize tax liability and legal exposure. Every asset must be positioned to survive changes in regulation, market conditions, and personal circumstances. But remember, above all else, this construction happens in silence. You do not announce each new income stream as you build it. You do not boast about your investment returns. You do not reveal your legal structures or asset protection strategies. These are private matters, strategic advantages that lose their power the moment they become public knowledge. Your friends and family will notice that your financial situation seems to be improving, but they should never fully understand how or why. They should see the effects of your wealth construction, the increased security and opportunity in your life, but they should not have access to the blueprints, the timeline, or the specific methods you are using. This silence serves multiple purposes. It protects your strategies from copying or sabotage. It prevents requests for loans or investments that could compromise your plan. It avoids triggering envy or resentment that could damage your relationships or your reputation. Most importantly, it allows your wealth to grow without external interference or pressure. The construction of wealth is both an art and a science, requiring both creativity and discipline, both vision and patience. But it is also the most reliable path to the freedom, security, and independence that most people claim to want but never systematically pursue. Your wealth construction begins today, in silence, with whatever resources you currently possess, following a plan that exists only in your mind but will eventually exist in reality as your personal economic ecosystem, generating abundance while requiring minimal maintenance, providing security while attracting minimal attention, creating freedom while preserving privacy. Number 4, strategic financial management. You have money sitting in a bank account earning less than 1% interest, while inflation consumes your purchasing power like a slow but relentless fire. You tell yourself you are being conservative, being safe, being responsible. But what you are actually doing is guaranteeing your own financial defeat. You are allowing your wealth to die by inches while convincing yourself you are protecting it. Money is not a treasure to be buried in the ground. Money is not a possession to be hoarded in safety. Money is a living force, an army of resources that must be deployed strategically, moved purposefully, and commanded with the skill of a general who understands that victory goes to those who act decisively while their enemies hesitate. Every dollar you possess is a soldier in your financial army. And what do you do with soldiers? You do not lock them in barracks where they consume resources while contributing nothing to your objectives. You deploy them into the field where they can capture territory, secure resources, and return with reinforcements. You put them to work in missions that advance your strategic position while they gain experience and strength. Think of your financial resources as water flowing down a mountain. Water that pools in stagnant ponds becomes brackish and useless. But water that continues flowing grows stronger, carves deeper channels, generates power, and eventually becomes an unstoppable river that can move mountains and reshape landscapes. Your money must flow like that water, always in motion, always working, always growing stronger through strategic deployment. I learned this principle not from financial advisors or ancient texts, but from observing the rise and fall of kingdoms throughout my reign. The empires that expanded their territory prospered. The empires that tried to defend static positions eventually crumbled. The rulers who invested their treasury in productive enterprises left legacies of abundance. The rulers who hoarded gold in vaults left behind kingdoms conquered by more aggressive neighbors. There was a merchant prince in Damascus who inherited great wealth from his father. He had two options. He could preserve this wealth by hiding it in secure vaults, keeping it safe from all possible risks. Or he could deploy this wealth into trade routes, real estate, business ventures, and strategic partnerships that would multiply his resources, but expose them to potential losses. His advisors counseled caution. His family urged him to protect what he had. His friends warned him about the dangers of expansion, but this merchant prince understood what they did not. The greatest risk was not the possibility of losing money through strategic investment. The greatest risk was the certainty of losing purchasing power through strategic inaction. He deployed his inherited wealth across dozens of ventures. Some failed completely. Some produced modest returns, but others generated returns that more than compensated for all losses. Within 10 years, his active wealth had grown to many times the size of his static inheritance. More importantly, he had developed the skills, relationships, and systems necessary to continue generating wealth for the rest of his life. This is the turning point that will determine your financial destiny. You must stop treating money as a thing to be preserved and start treating it as a tool to be utilized. You must stop fearing the risks of strategic investment and start fearing the certainty of inflation, stagnation, and missed opportunities. Every dollar that sits idle in low-yield accounts is a dollar that shrinks in real value each day. Every dollar that remains uninvested is a dollar that could have been working to generate additional dollars. Every month you delay strategic deployment of your resources is a month of compound growth you can never recover. Begin immediately by calculating how much money you currently have sitting in accounts earning less than the rate of inflation. This is your stagnant army, your unused force, your wasted potential. These resources must be mobilized immediately into appreciating assets that will preserve and multiply their value over time. The three primary battlefields where your financial army should be deployed are real estate, business ownership, and diversified market investments. Each of these battlefields offers different advantages and risks, and your deployment should reflect your understanding of these characteristics and your personal strategic objectives. Real estate provides tangible assets that can generate rental income while appreciating in value. Unlike stocks or bonds, real estate cannot disappear overnight. Unlike cash, real estate tends to maintain its value against inflation. Unlike most investments, real estate provides tax advantages through depreciation and maintenance deductions. Your financial army should establish positions in real estate markets you understand, in properties that produce income immediately while building equity over time. Business ownership provides the highest potential returns because you are not just investing in someone else's efforts. You are deploying your resources into enterprises you can influence, improve, and optimize. Whether through starting your own business, buying existing businesses, or becoming a silent partner in ventures run by capable operators, business ownership allows your money to work with the multiplying power of human effort and market demand. Diversified market investments through index funds, exchange-traded funds, and carefully selected individual stocks allow you to deploy portions of your financial army into the broadest possible range of economic activities. When you own shares in diversified funds, your money is working simultaneously in hundreds or thousands of companies, industries, and markets. This deployment provides growth potential while spreading risk across the entire economy. The key to strategic financial management is consistent deployment and systematic redeployment. As your investments generate returns, these returns must be immediately redeployed into additional appreciating assets. This is the compound effect that transforms modest initial resources into substantial long-term wealth. Warren Buffett understood this principle better than perhaps any investor in modern history. He did not build his fortune through dramatic trades or spectacular individual investments. He built it through the patient, systematic deployment of resources into undervalued assets that would appreciate over time, combined with the discipline to reinvest all returns into additional appreciating assets. Your strategic financial management must follow this same principle of aggressive but patient deployment. Be aggressive in putting your money to work. Be patient in allowing time and compound growth to multiply your results. Be systematic in reinvesting all returns rather than spending them on consumption. Remember that every month you delay this strategic deployment is a month of potential growth you forfeit forever. Remember that every dollar you keep in safe but stagnant positions is a dollar that loses purchasing power to inflation. Remember that every opportunity you avoid due to excessive caution is an opportunity someone else will seize and profit from. Your money is an army that wants to work, wants to grow, wants to conquer new territory and return with spoils of victory. The question is whether you will be the general who deploys this army strategically for maximum advantage, or the timid guardian who keeps this army locked away where it slowly weakens, while your enemies grow stronger through superior strategic action. The choice you make today will determine whether you spend your life working for money, or whether money spends its existence working tirelessly and effectively for you. Choose deployment over preservation. Choose strategic risk over guaranteed stagnation. Choose the growth that comes from putting your financial army to work in the battles that matter most. Number 5. Discretion and privacy as power tools. You post a picture of your new purchase, and within minutes receive dozens of likes, comments, and private messages. You feel validated, appreciated, successful. But what you have actually done is broadcast intelligence about your financial resources to hundreds of people who now know more about your capabilities than they need to know. You have traded strategic advantage for temporary emotional satisfaction. In our modern world, privacy has become the ultimate luxury, and discretion has become the ultimate competitive advantage. While everyone else competes to share more, reveal more, announce more about their lives, the truly powerful have learned to operate in the opposite direction. They share less, reveal less, announce less, and therefore preserve more of their strategic position. Your privacy is not just a personal preference. Your privacy is a business asset, a protective barrier, and a source of power that compounds over time when properly maintained. Every piece of information you keep private is a piece of intelligence your competitors cannot use against you. Every detail you do not share is a detail that cannot be used to calculate your vulnerabilities, predict your next moves, or manipulate your decisions. Think of discretion as an invisible armor that grows stronger with each secret you successfully maintain. This armor does not hide weakness or failure. This armor protects strength and success from those who would seek to undermine, copy, or steal what you have built. The more powerful you become, the more important this armor becomes, because the more you have to protect and the more people who would benefit from your downfall. I have watched kingdoms fall not because they were weak, but because their enemies knew too much about their strengths and weaknesses, their plans and resources, their fears and desires. Information warfare is as old as human civilization, and in our interconnected age, it has become more dangerous and more decisive than ever before. The ruler who protects his intelligence survives. The ruler who broadcasts his intelligence invites conquest. There was once a successful trader in the markets of Tyre who made the mistake of celebrating his victories too publicly. When he completed profitable transactions, he would announce his success in the marketplaces, describing his strategies and revealing his methods to anyone who would listen. He believed this sharing would enhance his reputation and attract more business partners. Instead, his openness attracted competitors who studied his methods, timing, and resources. They learned to predict his moves and position themselves to profit from his strategies. Within 2 years, this once successful trader found himself consistently outmaneuvered by people who had learned everything they needed to know simply by listening to his proud announcements. Meanwhile, another trader in the same markets operated in complete discretion. He celebrated his victories privately, shared his strategies with no one, and revealed his resources only when absolutely necessary for specific transactions. His competitors could never predict his moves because they never knew his methods, his timing, or his true capabilities. This discretion allowed him to maintain consistent advantages that compounded over decades of trading. This is the turning point that will transform your relationship with information and privacy. You must stop treating your successes as social media content and start treating them as competitive intelligence that must be protected. You must stop seeking validation through disclosure and start building power through strategic concealment. Begin immediately by conducting what I call a privacy audit of your current life. Review your social media accounts, your public records, your casual conversations, and identify every place where you are unnecessarily revealing information about your resources, strategies, plans, or capabilities. Each unnecessary disclosure is a leak in your defensive armor that must be sealed. Your social media presence should reveal your values, your interests, your personality, but never your specific financial information, your detailed business strategies, or your precise resource levels. People should enjoy following your content without gaining actionable intelligence about your competitive position. They should feel connected to you as a person without understanding you as a strategic entity. In your professional life, develop the discipline of strategic ambiguity. When colleagues ask about your investments, discuss your philosophy of long-term thinking without revealing your specific holdings or returns. When friends inquire about your business plans, share your excitement about growth and opportunity without disclosing your detailed strategies or timelines. When family members want to know about your financial situation, express gratitude for stability and progress without providing precise numbers or projections. This is not deception. This is operational security. This is the same principle that guides military operations, corporate strategy, and diplomatic negotiations. Information is power, and giving away information unnecessarily is giving away power unnecessarily. Your discretion preserves your competitive advantages while maintaining your personal relationships and professional reputation. The most successful families in history mastered this balance between public presence and private operation. The Rothschilds were known throughout Europe for their philanthropy, their culture, their contributions to society. But very few people understood the precise structure of their business operations, the specific details of their investment strategies, or the exact mechanisms through which their wealth was generated and protected. This combination of public respectability and private mystery made them simultaneously influential and invulnerable. People knew enough about them to respect and trust them, but not enough to copy, sabotage, or effectively compete with them. Their discretion was both a defensive tool and an offensive weapon in the battles of business and politics. Your digital presence requires particular attention in our current environment. Unless your income depends specifically on public attention and personal branding, your online activities should minimize rather than maximize the information available about your resources and strategies. Use privacy settings aggressively. Limit the audience for your posts. Avoid location tracking that reveals your patterns of movement and activity. Consider creating separate accounts for different aspects of your life. Professional contacts should have access to information relevant to professional relationships. Personal friends should have access to information relevant to personal relationships. But no single group should have access to the complete picture of your activities, resources, and strategic position. Implement what intelligence professionals call compartmentalization in your personal life. Different people should know different aspects of your situation, but very few people should know everything about your situation. This is not paranoia. This is prudent information management in an age where information travels instantly and permanently through digital networks. Remember that once information enters the digital realm, you lose control over its distribution and preservation. A casual comment about your financial success can be screenshot, shared, and referenced years later in contexts you never intended. A moment of pride about your investment returns can become evidence used against you in legal, financial, or personal disputes you never anticipated. The principle of discretion must become as natural to you as breathing. In every conversation, in every social interaction, in every digital communication, you must maintain awareness of what you are revealing and why. You must develop the instinct to share appropriately without oversharing, to communicate effectively without communicating dangerously. Your discretion is not a barrier to success. Your discretion is a multiplier of success, allowing your achievements to compound without interference, your strategies to succeed without opposition, and your resources to grow without triggering the envy, competition, or manipulation that destroys so many promising ventures. Privacy and discretion are not about hiding failure or weakness. Privacy and discretion are about protecting success and strength from those who have not earned the right to access, understand, or influence your strategic position. They are tools of power that grow more valuable as your actual power increases, creating a protective barrier that allows true achievement to flourish in peace. Number 6, long-term investment and automation. You check your investment accounts every day, watching the numbers move up and down like a gambler watching dice at a casino table. You feel anxiety when markets decline and excitement when they rise, as if your daily emotions could somehow influence forces beyond your control. You have confused investing with gambling, strategy with speculation, long-term wealth building with short-term emotional gratification. True investment is not about predicting what will happen tomorrow, next week, or even next year. True investment is about positioning yourself to benefit from the mathematical certainty that human innovation, productivity, and economic growth will continue over decades, regardless of daily fluctuations, temporary setbacks, or periodic crises. The greatest fortunes in human history were not built by people who could predict short-term market movements. They were built by people who understood long-term historical trends and had the discipline to maintain their positions through temporary volatility, while less patient investors panicked, sold at losses, and missed the very recoveries they should have benefited from. Think of long-term investing like planting a forest. You do not plant trees expecting to harvest lumber next month. You plant trees knowing that, given sufficient time and care, they will grow into valuable resources that can provide benefits for generations. Your investment portfolio must be planted with the same long-term perspective, the same patient expectation, the same commitment to growth over time rather than immediate results. The magic of long-term investing lies not in the brilliance of individual decisions, but in the mathematical power of compound growth combined with systematic consistency. When your investments generate returns, and those returns generate additional returns, and those additional returns generate even more returns, the cumulative effect over decades becomes almost unbelievable to people who think in terms of linear growth rather than exponential expansion. I learned this principle by observing the merchants who prospered during my reign versus those who struggled despite working equally hard. The struggling merchants were always looking for the next big opportunity, the quick profit, the immediate return on their efforts. They would invest their resources, then quickly withdraw them if results were not immediate, constantly starting over with new strategies and new expectations. The prosperous merchants understood something different. They identified trade routes and business partnerships that would be profitable over years and decades, not months. They committed resources to these long-term relationships and refused to be distracted by short-term opportunities that might divert their attention from their primary wealth-building strategy. Their patience was consistently rewarded with results that far exceeded what any short-term approach could have achieved. But here is the crucial insight that separates successful long-term investors from those who merely talk about long-term investing. The successful ones remove their own emotions and daily decisions from the investment process through systematic automation. They understand that human psychology is the greatest enemy of long-term wealth building. This is the turning point that will transform your investment results from mediocre to extraordinary. You must stop trying to time markets, pick individual winners, or make frequent adjustments based on current events or emotional reactions. Instead, you must create automated systems that invest consistently regardless of market conditions, your emotions, or external circumstances. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment accounts that occur on the same day each month, regardless of whether markets are high or low, whether news is positive or negative, whether you feel optimistic or pessimistic about economic conditions. This systematic approach, called dollar cost averaging, eliminates the psychological barriers that prevent most people from investing consistently. Your automated investments should focus primarily on broad market index funds that give you ownership stakes in hundreds or thousands of companies simultaneously. This diversification protects you from the failure of individual companies while ensuring that you benefit from the overall growth of the economy over time. You are not trying to pick winners. You are positioning yourself to benefit when the entire system of human economic activity expands. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index, which represents the largest companies in the American economy, has generated average annual returns of approximately 10% over the past century, including periods of war, depression, recession, and every form of economic crisis. This return rate means that money invested in broad market funds doubles approximately every 7 years through compound growth. But this historical performance only benefits investors who maintain their positions through temporary declines. The investors who panic during market downturns, who sell when prices drop and buy when prices rise, who try to get out before crashes and get in before recoveries, consistently underperform the very markets they are trying to time because they allow emotions to override mathematical logic. Warren Buffett, who became one of the wealthiest people in human history through long-term investing, has repeatedly stated that his favorite holding period is forever. He invests in companies and funds that he never intends to sell, that he expects to own for decades, that he views as permanent positions in his wealth-building strategy rather than temporary trades based on current conditions. Your investment automation should mirror this approach. Set up systems that purchase additional shares of diversified index funds every month, regardless of current prices, and plan never to sell these holdings except in genuine emergencies that threaten your survival. Let the companies in these funds grow their businesses, increase their profits, and expand their operations while you live your life without constantly monitoring or adjusting your positions. This approach requires a level of patience and discipline that most people cannot maintain, which is exactly why it produces results that most people never achieve. While others obsess over daily market movements, you focus on living your life productively. While others panic during temporary declines, you continue your systematic purchases at lower prices. While others celebrate during market peaks, you maintain the same consistent strategy that will benefit from future growth. The mathematics of this approach are undeniable. If you invest $500 per month in diversified index funds earning average historical returns, you will accumulate over $1 million within 30 years and over $3 million within 40 years. The exact numbers will vary based on market performance, but the principle of systematic long-term accumulation produces predictable long-term results. But remember that this strategy only works if you actually implement it and maintain it consistently over decades. Most people understand these principles intellectually, but fail to apply them practically because they lack the discipline to automate their investments and ignore short-term market volatility. Your automated investment system should operate like your heartbeat or your breathing, as an unconscious process that continues regardless of your daily activities, emotions, or external circumstances. The money should leave your accounts and enter your investment positions as automatically as your paycheck enters your accounts, becoming part of your financial infrastructure rather than a conscious decision you make repeatedly. This automation removes the emotional barriers, the psychological obstacles, and the decision fatigue that prevent most people from building substantial long-term wealth through proven investment strategies. It transforms investing from something you have to think about and worry about into something that happens systematically, while you focus on earning more money to invest and living the life your growing wealth makes possible. Long-term investing combined with systematic automation is not just a financial strategy. It is a philosophical approach to life that prioritizes future freedom over present gratification, mathematical certainty over emotional speculation, and patient accumulation over anxious timing. Number 7. Multiple independent income streams. You receive one paycheck from one employer and believe you have income security. But what you actually have is income dependency, and dependency is the opposite of security. You have built your entire financial life on a foundation that can be destroyed by a single decision made by people who do not have your best interests at heart. You have confused the illusion of stability with actual stability. True financial security does not come from having a good job. True financial security comes from having multiple independent sources of income, each capable of supporting you if the others disappear, each operating in different markets and industries, each controlled by different people and influenced by different economic forces. Think of your income like the legs of a table. A table with one leg cannot stand. A table with two legs is unstable and will fall when pressure is applied. But a table with multiple legs can lose one or even two legs and still function. Your financial table must be built with enough independent legs that you can survive and prosper, even when several of them are broken or removed. The wealthy families that have preserved their prosperity across generations understood this principle instinctively. They never relied on single sources of income, no matter how profitable or reliable those sources appeared to be. They systematically developed multiple streams of revenue from different activities, different investments, different geographic regions, and different economic sectors. This diversification was not just about maximizing total income. This diversification was about creating antifragility, the ability to benefit from chaos and uncertainty rather than being destroyed by them. When one income stream encounters problems, the others continue flowing. When one industry faces challenges, they have presence in others. When one geographic region experiences economic difficulties, they have resources elsewhere. I learned this lesson by observing the merchants and traders who operated throughout my kingdom and beyond. The ones who specialized in single products or single trade routes could generate enormous profits during good times, but they were also vulnerable to complete ruin when conditions changed. Wars disrupted their routes. Competitors offered better products. Market demand shifted to different goods. But the merchants who developed multiple independent streams of commerce were able to survive and thrive through every form of economic disruption. When one trade route became dangerous, they had others. When demand for one product declined, they offered alternatives. When one region experienced political instability, they operated in others. Their diversification provided both stability and opportunity. There was a particular merchant family I knew who began with a single successful business exporting cedar wood from Lebanon. They could have focused entirely on expanding this business, maximizing their profits from wood trading. Instead, they used their profits to develop completely independent income streams. They invested in agricultural land that produced food for local markets. They established workshops that created luxury goods for wealthy customers. They provided financing services to other merchants who needed capital for their ventures. Within 20 years, this family had 7 distinct sources of income, each profitable on its own, each serving different markets, each requiring different skills and relationships. When political conflicts disrupted the wood trade that had originally made their fortune, they barely noticed the financial impact because their other income streams continued growing. This is the turning point that will transform your financial security from fragile to anti-fragile. You must stop thinking of your job as your income and start thinking of your job as your first income stream, the foundation upon which you will build multiple additional streams that will eventually provide you with true economic independence. Your second income stream should be something you can start immediately with resources you currently possess. This might be selling a skill you already have, like writing, tutoring, consulting, or designing. It might be buying and reselling products you understand. It might be creating digital content that can be sold repeatedly. The specific activity matters less than establishing the principle of multiple independent revenue sources. As your second stream begins generating money, resist every temptation to spend this money on consumption. This money has a sacred purpose. It exists to fund your third income stream. The profits from your second stream become the investment capital for your third stream, and the profits from your third stream become the investment capital for your fourth stream. This progression continues until you have developed enough independent income streams that you could survive comfortably, even if several of them disappeared simultaneously. The exact number depends on your lifestyle and risk tolerance, but most financial experts recommend at least 5 to 7 distinct sources before you can consider yourself truly financially secure. Each of your income streams should operate in a different sector of the economy, serve different types of customers, and require different types of skills or resources. This diversity ensures that economic changes affecting one stream are unlikely to affect all streams simultaneously. When some streams face challenges, others may actually benefit from the same economic conditions. Your income streams should also vary in the amount of active involvement they require from you. Some streams, like consulting or freelance work, may require your direct participation and active time investment. Other streams, like rental real estate or dividend-paying investments, should generate income with minimal ongoing effort once they are properly established. The ultimate goal is to reach a point where your passive income streams generate enough money to cover your essential living expenses. Once you achieve this level, your active income becomes discretionary rather than necessary. You work because you choose to work, not because you have to work. This is the difference between employment and true financial freedom. The technology revolution has created unprecedented opportunities for developing multiple independent income streams. You can sell products worldwide through e-commerce platforms. You can provide services to clients anywhere through digital communication. You can create content once and sell it repeatedly through online marketplaces. You can invest in hundreds of different assets through online brokerages and real estate platforms. But remember that every income stream requires initial investment of time, money, or both before it begins generating returns. You must be prepared to work longer hours initially while you build these additional streams alongside your primary job. You must be prepared to reinvest early profits rather than spending them immediately. You must be prepared for some streams to fail completely while others exceed your expectations. The Rockefeller family provides perhaps the best historical example of systematic income diversification. They began with oil refining but quickly expanded into transportation, banking, real estate, mining, agriculture, and dozens of other industries. By the time government regulations broke up their oil monopoly, they had already developed so many other income streams that the original business represented only a small fraction of their total wealth. Your personal income diversification project should follow the same principle of systematic expansion across different economic sectors. Start with what you know and can implement immediately. Use profits to fund expansion into areas that complement your existing streams. Continue this process until you have created a financial ecosystem that can support you regardless of what happens to any individual component. Most people work 40 years for other people's dreams and retire with barely enough money to survive their remaining years. But people who develop multiple independent income streams often achieve financial independence within 10 to 20 years and spend their remaining decades pursuing whatever activities bring them fulfillment rather than just survival. The choice between financial dependency and financial independence is not determined by how much money you make at your job. The choice is determined by how systematically you develop alternative income sources that reduce and eventually eliminate your dependence on any single source of money. Your financial security lies not in the strength of your strongest income stream, but in the diversity and independence of your entire income portfolio. Build this portfolio systematically, protect it carefully, and maintain it consistently, and you will achieve a level of financial security that single-income earners can never understand or enjoy. Number 8. Strategic charity and social influence. You write a check to charity and post about it on social media, seeking recognition for your generosity. You attend fundraising events where donors are publicly acknowledged and applauded. You believe that visible giving enhances your reputation and demonstrates your success to others. But what you are actually doing is weakening your position while strengthening those who understand the true nature of strategic philanthropy. Real charity, charity that builds lasting influence and genuine power, operates in the shadows. It helps people without fanfare, solves problems without credit, and creates loyalty without announcement. The most powerful individuals throughout history understood that anonymous giving generates more authentic gratitude, more genuine influence, and more strategic advantage than public philanthropy ever could. When you give publicly, people thank you because they have to, because social expectations require expressions of gratitude when generosity is witnessed by others. But when you give privately, people thank you because they want to, because they are genuinely moved by kindness that sought no recognition, expected no applause, and created no social obligation for public appreciation. Think of charitable giving like planting seeds in a garden. Seeds planted in public view are constantly scrutinized, measured, and compared to other plantings. Everyone watches to see how quickly they grow, how large they become, how impressive their results appear. But seeds planted in private grow without observation, without comparison, without the pressure of external expectations. They often produce more abundant and lasting results because they receive more genuine care and attention. Anonymous charity also protects you from the unintended consequences of visible generosity. When people know you have money to give away, they begin calculating how much money you must have in total. They start approaching you with requests, projects, and opportunities that may not align with your actual interests or priorities. Your public generosity becomes an invitation for others to make claims on your resources. I learned this lesson by observing two wealthy merchants in my kingdom who chose completely different approaches to charitable giving. The first merchant made large donations to public projects, had his name carved into building facades, and ensured that everyone knew about his generosity. He enjoyed the recognition, the social status, and the reputation for philanthropy that his visible giving created. But this public generosity also created expectations. People assumed he could afford to give even more. Organizations competed for his attention with increasingly elaborate requests. His business associates began calculating his wealth based on his charitable activities. His visible generosity became a burden that limited his strategic flexibility and attracted unwanted attention to his resources. The second merchant gave equally generously, but entirely in private. He helped struggling families without announcing it. He funded community projects without seeking credit. He supported worthy causes through anonymous donations that left no trace connecting the gifts to his identity. His charitable activities remained completely separate from his public reputation and business interests. This private giver developed something far more valuable than public recognition. He developed genuine gratitude from people who had been helped without knowing who helped them, but who eventually learned through discreet channels. He developed authentic loyalty from recipients who appreciated kindness that sought no reward. He developed real influence with people who respected generosity that expected nothing in return. This is the turning point that will transform your charitable giving from social signaling into strategic influence building. You must stop seeking recognition for your generosity and start building authentic relationships through anonymous kindness. You must stop using charity as reputation management and start using it as genuine service to causes and people you care about. Begin by identifying specific individuals who could benefit from your help but have no way of knowing that help came from you. This might be covering medical expenses for someone facing health challenges, paying educational costs for students who cannot afford them, or providing business capital for entrepreneurs who lack access to traditional funding. The key is helping in ways that create real impact without creating public knowledge of your involvement. Anonymous charitable giving requires developing systems that preserve your privacy while ensuring your gifts reach their intended recipients. This might involve working through intermediaries like attorneys or accountants who can facilitate donations without revealing your identity. It might involve creating private foundations or trusts that can distribute funds while maintaining donor privacy. It might involve simply giving cash directly when circumstances allow. The Medici family mastered this approach to strategic philanthropy better than perhaps any dynasty in European history. They funded countless artists, scholars, and public projects, often without requiring public recognition or credit. This anonymous generosity created profound loyalty among intellectuals, artists, and community leaders who knew they had been helped, but could never fully identify their benefactors. This mysterious generosity enhanced the Medici reputation for wisdom and benevolence, while protecting their wealth from the inevitable requests and expectations that come with public philanthropy. People suspected the Medici were generous, but they could never calculate the exact extent of their charitable activities or make specific demands based on previous giving patterns. Your anonymous charitable strategy should focus on creating maximum impact with minimum visibility. Rather than spreading small donations across many visible causes, concentrate larger amounts on fewer recipients where your help can create transformational rather than merely incremental improvements. A single anonymous gift that changes someone's life completely generates more authentic gratitude than dozens of small public donations that provide temporary relief. Consider the psychological impact on recipients of anonymous versus public charity. When charity comes with public recognition, recipients may feel grateful but also somewhat obligated, aware that the giver received something valuable in return for their generosity. When charity comes anonymously, recipients experience pure gratitude, uncontaminated by social obligation or suspicion about ulterior motives. This pure gratitude creates deeper emotional connections and more lasting loyalty than public charity ever could. People who have been helped anonymously often become devoted advocates and allies, not because they feel obligated, but because they have experienced genuine kindness without conditions or expectations. Your anonymous charitable activities should also align with your broader strategic objectives and values, rather than being driven by social expectations or public relations considerations. Give to causes you genuinely care about, in ways that reflect your authentic interests and priorities, without regard for how these activities might appear to others or enhance your public reputation. Remember that true influence comes not from what people know about your generosity, but from what they feel about your character. Anonymous charity builds character-based influence that is more durable and more powerful than reputation-based influence. Character-based influence survives criticism, scandal, and changing circumstances because it is rooted in authentic relationships rather than public perceptions. The ultimate goal of strategic charity is not to be known as a generous person, but to actually be a generous person in ways that create genuine impact without creating social complications or strategic vulnerabilities. This approach to giving enhances your actual power while protecting your privacy, builds real relationships while avoiding superficial obligations, and creates lasting influence while maintaining the strategic advantages that come with financial discretion. Anonymous charity is not just about giving money. It is about building a network of authentic relationships with people who have experienced your character directly rather than just observing your public behavior. This network becomes a source of genuine loyalty, reliable information, and strategic support that money alone cannot purchase and publicity cannot replicate. Number 9. Discipline and continuous adaptation. You start each year with ambitious financial goals, detailed plans, and genuine determination to transform your economic situation. But by March, your discipline has weakened. By June, your habits have reverted. By December, you are making the same resolutions you made 12 months earlier, having learned nothing from another year of good intentions and poor execution. This cycle of enthusiasm followed by abandonment is not a character flaw or a lack of willpower. This cycle is the predictable result of treating wealth building as a temporary project rather than a permanent transformation of how you think, how you act, and who you become. Real wealth requires more than good intentions. Real wealth requires the development of an entirely different identity, one that embodies the characteristics successful people display consistently rather than occasionally. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to do things you do not want to do. Discipline is about training yourself to want the things that produce the results you claim to desire. Discipline is about aligning your automatic responses, your daily habits, and your unconscious preferences with your conscious long-term objectives. Think of discipline like training for athletic competition. Athletes do not succeed by forcing themselves to exercise against their will. Athletes succeed by developing genuine enjoyment of training, automatic habits that support peak performance, an identity-level commitment to improvement that makes excellence feel natural rather than difficult. Your financial discipline must develop the same characteristics. You must train yourself to genuinely enjoy the activities that build wealth. You must develop automatic habits that support financial growth. You must cultivate identity-level commitment to economic independence that makes smart financial decisions feel natural rather than forced. But here is the crucial insight that separates lasting financial success from temporary financial improvement. The world changes constantly, and your strategies must evolve with changing conditions while your underlying principles remain consistent. Adaptation is not abandonment of discipline. Adaptation is the application of discipline to new circumstances and new opportunities. I learned this lesson by observing the merchants, farmers, and craftsmen throughout my kingdom who prospered across decades of changing conditions versus those who experienced temporary success but could not maintain it. The lasting successes were not those who found one profitable approach and repeated it indefinitely. The lasting successes were those who developed the capacity to adapt their methods while maintaining their commitment to fundamental principles. There was a family of textile merchants who began their business focusing on wool production for local markets. When trade routes opened to distant kingdoms, they adapted by learning about fabrics preferred in foreign markets. When new technologies changed production methods, they invested in updated equipment and training. When political conditions shifted trade patterns, They developed relationships with new suppliers and customers. Through every change, this merchant family maintained their fundamental commitment to quality, fair dealing, and long-term relationship building. But they continuously adapted their specific strategies, their product offerings, and their market approach to reflect changing conditions and new opportunities. Their discipline was not rigid adherence to unchanged methods. Their discipline was flexible application of unchanging principles. This is the turning point that will determine whether your financial success lasts for months or for decades. You must develop what I call principled adaptability, the ability to modify your tactics while maintaining your strategic direction, the skill to evolve your methods while preserving your commitment to wealth building. Your fundamental principles should never change. Always spend less than you earn. Always invest your surplus in appreciating assets. Always diversify your income sources. Always protect your wealth through legal structures and strategic privacy. Always reinvest returns rather than consuming them. Always think in terms of decades rather than months. But your specific applications of these principles must evolve as your knowledge increases, as your resources grow, as market conditions change, and as new opportunities become available. The index funds you invest in today may not be the best options in 10 years. The business ventures that serve you now may not be relevant in future market conditions. The legal structures that protect your wealth currently may need updating as laws and regulations change. Warren Buffett provides perhaps the best example of principled adaptability in modern financial history. His fundamental investment principles have remained consistent for over 50 years. He invests in companies with strong competitive advantages, competent management, and reasonable prices. He holds investments for very long periods. He reinvests profits rather than spending them on consumption. But Buffett's specific investment choices have evolved dramatically as market conditions changed, as new industries emerged, and as his understanding deepened. He adapted from small companies to large companies, from traditional industries to technology companies, from domestic investments to international opportunities. His methods evolved while his principles remained constant. Your financial discipline must develop the same characteristics. Commit absolutely to the fundamental principles of wealth building, but remain completely flexible about the specific methods you use to apply these principles. Study continuously to understand new opportunities, new risks, and new strategies that might serve your objectives better than your current approach. This requires developing what I call learning discipline alongside your financial discipline. Set aside time each week to study investment strategies, business opportunities, legal developments, and economic trends that might affect your wealth-building activities. Read books, attend seminars, consult with experts, and engage with communities of people who share your commitment to financial independence. But remember that learning without application is merely entertainment. Every new insight must be evaluated for practical implementation. Every new strategy must be tested on a small scale before major resource commitment. Every adaptation must be measured against results, rather than just theory or popular opinion. Your disciplined adaptation should also include regular review and adjustment of your wealth-building strategies based on actual results rather than initial expectations. What worked better than anticipated? What produced disappointing results? What external factors influenced outcomes? What internal factors need improvement? Conduct formal reviews of your financial progress quarterly, not just to measure results, but to identify necessary adaptations in your strategies, your methods, and your resource allocation. These reviews should be analytical rather than emotional, focused on improving performance rather than celebrating or lamenting past results. The Rothschild family demonstrated this principle of disciplined adaptation across multiple generations and changing historical periods. They began as traders in rare coins and evolved into international bankers. They adapted from European markets to global markets, from traditional banking to investment banking, from individual ownership to corporate structures. Throughout every transformation, they maintained their commitment to information advantage, relationship building, and conservative risk management. Your personal financial evolution should follow the same pattern of principled adaptation. Begin with simple strategies you can implement immediately. As your knowledge and resources grow, evolve toward more sophisticated approaches that can handle larger amounts of money and more complex opportunities. As external conditions change, adapt your methods while maintaining your fundamental commitment to wealth accumulation and protection. Remember that adaptation is not random change or constant experimentation. Adaptation is systematic evolution based on improved understanding, changed circumstances, and better opportunities. Each adaptation should be deliberate, measured, and aligned with your long-term objectives, rather than driven by emotional reactions to temporary setbacks or exciting new trends. The discipline of continuous adaptation will allow your wealth-building strategies to remain effective and profitable across decades of changing economic conditions, evolving market opportunities, and shifting personal circumstances. This discipline transforms wealth building from a temporary activity into a permanent capability that serves you throughout your entire life. Most people treat financial improvement as a project with a beginning and an end. But true financial security requires treating wealth building as a permanent practice that continuously evolves and improves as you gain experience, resources, and wisdom. This is not just about accumulating money. This is about developing the character, knowledge, and skills that ensure your prosperity lasts as long as you do. You now stand at the threshold between two worlds. Behind you lies the world of those who mistake noise for strength, who confuse display with power, who believe that wealth must be announced to be real. Before you lies the world of invisible sovereignty, where true power moves like underground rivers, carving canyons in silence, reshaping entire landscapes without anyone noticing until the transformation is complete. The choice you make in this moment will echo through every financial decision you make for the rest of your life. Will you join the masses who celebrate their small victories publicly while their enemies calculate their weaknesses? Or will you walk the path of those who build empires in the shadows, who accumulate power so quietly that by the time others notice, it is too late to stop? Think of a mighty oak tree standing in a forest. What you see above ground is impressive, but it is nothing compared to what exists beneath the surface. The root system extends 3 times wider than the visible canopy, drawing nutrients from soil that feeds no other tree, accessing water sources that sustain growth through every drought and storm. The tree's true strength lies not in what the world can see, but in what remains hidden, protected, and continuously growing in darkness. Your wealth must grow like those roots, invisible, extensive, drawing sustenance from sources others cannot access or even imagine. While others admire the visible canopy of your life, your real power spreads silently beneath the surface of their awareness, creating a foundation so deep and so broad that nothing they do can threaten your security or limit your growth. This is not just about accumulating money. This is about achieving a form of freedom so complete, so unassailable, that you move through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who has transcended the game everyone else is still playing. You become someone who helps others not because you need recognition, but because you have power to spare. Someone who makes decisions not because you need approval, but because you understand consequences others cannot see. If you are ready to continue walking this path of invisible strength, to learn the deeper principles that separate the truly powerful from those who merely appear powerful, then join this community of silent builders who understand that real transformation happens away from the spotlight, in the quiet moments when nobody is watching. through choices that compound over decades into results that seem impossible to those who never learned to work in shadows. The ancient rivers that carved the deepest canyons never announced their intentions, never sought recognition for their work, never paused to celebrate their daily progress, yet they moved mountains through patience, consistency, and the unstoppable power of time itself.